Oh, hello, everyone. Welcome to our little impromptu live stream going out on our Diz Unplugged Facebook group as well as our Diz Unplugged YouTube channel. I'm already seeing from some of the comments that are coming in that you were expecting this. But what you're probably not expecting, we're joined by some familiar faces since we're going to talk about the Disneyland annual pass holder program and the announcement that was made today. I thought it would be best to hear from some folks that are directly impacted by this. You know them well. Of course, we have Mary Jo Mulatto Willie, our good friend. There she is. Oh, she's you're we can't hear you, Mary Jo. Check your mic and make sure you're not muted on your end because you're not muted on mine. No, okay, we'll check on Mary Jo as she figures out her audio. And there is Miss Nancy Johnson,
Hey, everybody.
and she's not
Nice to
muted,
see
so
you
it's
all.
definitely not on my end. And
Pull out
uh,
your earphones, Mary Jo.
yeah, Mary Jo, it's saying that you've muted yourself, and I'm not able to unmute you. So look on your screen and see if I don't think it's on your mic. I think it's on your screen. Just check and see like if you've muted yourself. Um, isn't she adorable? No, I'm not Nancy Johnson. I'm Pete Werner. This is going to be fun tonight. This is going to be fun tonight. It's still saying you've muted yourself, MJ,
Oh.
and she's her lips are moving, but I can't hear her. Which
Can you hear me
is something
now?
I think that's like a dream. I think that's a
I
dream for
hear her.
children.
Can you hear me
I
now?
hear her.
We can hear her now. We can hear her
All
now.
right.
Hold
I have no
on.
idea what happened. I'm sure my daughter wishes that she could have that power to do that.
And I don't know what's going on with the lower thirds either. Okay, we're having a night here. We're having a night here. Yeah, I was just saying. I'm sure that was a problem that your children wish they had, that your lips were moving
Yeah.
but they couldn't hear you. All right, so let's start out by talking about this absolutely stunning announcement that came out today. Apparently, Disney is on a roll this week with announcements that the annual pass holder program in Disneyland, as it is currently configured, let's underline that caveat there. As it is currently configured, is coming to an end, according to a statement released by Ken Potrock, president of Disneyland Resort. Due to the pandemic and its effects on the resort's operations, the current Disneyland annual passport program is being halted, and refunds will be issued appropriately. Disneyland annual pass holders will receive an email regarding the sunsetting of the program. And again, let's underline that word too, sunsetting of the program. So before we go into anything, I'm going to start with you, Mary Jo. What were your thoughts when you heard this?
Uh, I was. I didn't see it coming. I've had an annual pass for 25 years now, so going to Disneyland is a big part of my life. And so my initial thought was extreme sadness and oh my gosh, what am I going to do now? And then reality hit me of I, I I'm thinking that they're using this opportunity to clean the slate and start over with what they really want to do with the annual pass holders
Okay.
or with those of us that go to the park all the time. But I
All
was
right.
shocked when I first saw it.
All right, Nancy, what about you?
I wasn't surprised at all. Honest to God. I saw it and I was like, oh, well, that makes sense. Because for me, I wondered how they were going to handle the possibility of it transitioning to a reduced volume park with all of these pass holders who feel like they're entitled to go in whenever they want. And that's been their habit. So they really had to make some serious changes. And you have to remember our demographic is about 70% local, 30% tourism. So kind of made sense to me that they'd do something like it.
See, now I'm going to tell you, and again, I'm a jaded, fat, old queen. So keep that in mind. The first thing I thought when I saw this, and it's what I still think, especially given the terminology that was used in this announcement, that we are seeing an accelerated effort to do things they have wanted to do for a long time, but haven't had the justification. And they are using COVID as a justification. And what's going to happen on the other side of the pandemic, we're going to have less and pay more. Because they're being very clear here. If you listen to this language, as it is currently configured, sunsetting, those are words you use when you are getting rid of one program, but you're going to replace it with something else. And let's be honest, there's just no way. There's no way Disneyland is not going to have some kind of annual pass program. Now, have they been, I know out here, they've been, they're not selling new annual passes, but they're allowing people with an annual pass to renew. Have they been doing that with you guys too, or?
No, not at all.
Because Disneyland has been shut down. And so since Disneyland has been closed, there's been no activity other than the shopping. And as you know, I believe there's not even indoor dining. So the restaurants are closed. Disneyland, from things that I've seen on the boards, people who do go there quite often, they're talking about how it's kind of empty at the resort. And there has been no chatter that I can see of anything regarding the annual pass, other than people using their discounts and increased discounts for Christmas, etc. And did you repeat that there's that they're talking about a membership? No, I'm sorry, that they're talking that we can use the. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
I'll let Nancy talk.
Okay.
If you were a current pass holder as of 3/14, your pass was active, you are able now still to get discounts on food and merchandise until such time as a new program is announced. And that was wording that they had used. Also, Mondays through Thursdays on from January 18th to February 25th. And they did say specifically select dates, they'll be increasing the annual pass holder discount to 30%. But remember, it's only Monday through Thursdays. They're not giving it on the weekends, probably to reduce crowds in the downtown Disney area.
Yeah.
Because it's crazy on the weekend.
I'd seen that. I'd seen that they were, going to continue the discounts. But do either of you think there will not be an annual pass holder program at some point? Or is this the end of it? That they're just literally just going to charge everybody the day rate?
What I think that they are attempting to erase and rectify the fact that they got so many annual pass holders due to the payment plan. They over pass holdered themselves. And so now they can turn around, they can make a different tiered structure than what they currently have. They can do things like get rid of grandfathered parking, which several pass holders, because of their renewal and such, their parking costs were, grandfathered into their passes. I'm assuming they're going to modify the perks whatever perks are currently left. I mean, as it stands now, RAPs get perks get discounts on everything within, some product exceptions, but there are pretty much discounts everywhere. Whereas, correct me if I'm wrong, you guys in Florida have pass holder discounts only at certain locations, and that there are some restaurants and such that are no discounts at all, correct?
Yeah, it's at any Disney owned and operated location, we get the annual pass discount. It's the third party restaurants and things like that. But I think most of them do. I never use my annual pass for that stuff. I always use my Tables in Wonderland.
Right, which
card,
we don't have here.
Yeah.
So something that they rolled up, I'm sorry, I was going to say something that they did roll out before, hopefully I'm not so choppy, but is the...
No, you're good now. You're good now.
Okay. What they had rolled out last year, a couple of years ago, was the Flex Pass, where you would make a reservation and you could make so many reservations during the year as long as they didn't reach capacity for that day. I'm thinking that annual passes will be using that going forward, where you have to make a reservation regardless of even, that you have to make a reservation, and that I don't think they're going to go back to the monthly payments, because that made it very affordable for students and people who could go to Disneyland at any time, and it made the parks very crowded on the weekends and in the evenings.
All right, this is going to sound like a really bizarre analogy, but I swear to God, this is what I thought. And again, originally from New Jersey, and anybody from the Northeast who was conscious when the whole Son of Sam mass murders were going on, the serial killer Son of Sam. And I forgot if it was Brooklyn or Queens that he hadn't struck in. And I think it was Brooklyn. And they said, oh, he comes to Brooklyn, he's done. Or he comes to Queens and he's done. And sure enough, he went to Queens and he killed someone in Queens. And that's when they caught him. Or it was Brooklyn. I forgot if it was Brooklyn or Queens. But anyway, you get the idea, right? Okay. And all I could think to myself, they've come for the Disneyland people now.
Yeah.
Okay. They have come for the Disneyland people. And I just, because I'm stunned at the number of people watching this right now. We're over 1,300 people watching this live right now. I want to make it clear to everybody, we're talking about Disneyland in California, not Disney World in Orlando. Amazingly, I have to specify. But we're talking about the annual pass holder program in Disneyland in California has effectively been shut down. No announcement has been made for Disney World yet. And I know there's a lot of questions about how can we augur the tea leaves to see what's going to happen in World. We'll get to that. But, excuse me, on past shows and over the years, you've heard me say that the executives in Burbank kind of think the entire Disney fan world revolves around Disneyland. Because, A, that's where they're located, right? That's their park. And, of course, Disneyland is a locals park. As Mary Jo, or as Nancy was saying, it's 70, 80% locals, 20, 30% tourists. So there is a sense of ownership among the people in Southern California with that park. And this, I love them. I love the Disneyland fans because, man, they will storm the castle. And I firmly believe that what you're seeing now, I think they may have gone too far. I mean, I understand why they're doing it. I understand the reasoning they're giving for why they're doing it. I just don't believe that's the reason why they're doing it. I don't think this has anything really to do with COVID. I think what this has to do with is we've been wanting to change this program and we couldn't justify it. And here's our opportunity. And I'd said all along, especially with Walt Disney World, that if they started doing that, we were going to start calling them out, because up until about 2 or 3 months ago, 2 months ago, they weren't. They were acting in the best interest of public safety, and I think they still are. But they weren't. We didn't see them cutting a lot of things that they wanted to cut before and using COVID as an excuse. This is now the corporate policy. Use COVID as cover to make all of the cuts and changes that we want, provide less, and charge more. And I can only imagine what program is going to replace the program they have now. Do you guys have any thoughts on that, what they might end up doing?
Let me say this, and then I'm sure Nancy has a lot to say also. Back in 2001, when California Adventure first opened, they tried to do a split annual pass where people would pay one price for Disneyland and the same thing for California Adventure. And like you said, Disneyland fans, Disneyland is in our backyard. It's part of our lives, and we do feel it's very personal. And when they did that, people didn't go to California Adventure. And I think that with whatever they come up with, if the fans disagree with it, we're going to show that with our money. We're not going to be purchasing passes that we feel are unfair, that they're taking advantage of us.
But they're terrified of you guys. Okay, they are terrified.
Well, they should be.
Well, especially Mary Jo, because like she'll cut a bitch. I mean, she'll right. I mean, oh
my God.
Am I right? Am I right?
I'm so
that
ferocious.
lady will throw down. She will throw down. I've known MJ. I've known you for what 20 years now. Don't mess with her. She's a sweet woman. She's a sweet woman. And I think she's indicative of Disneyland fans. They're very, very sweet people, but they will cut you. They will cut you. Screw with them. And I really do think, I've always said I wish the fan base here in Orlando was as unified and as strong and as vocal as it is in Disneyland. But, because it's not a locals park here, it's just the opposite. It's mostly tourists. And we didn't grow up with it the way people in California did. So it's, not the same. It's just not the same dynamic. So they can get away with things. Teresa just texted me. She scares the crap out of me.
Oh my God.
But I think, and the reason I wanted to do this live stream is it kind of follows up with what I was just talking about on our Tuesday show about the elimination of extra magic hours, the elimination of Magical Express. They are on a roll. This is all, and this is what that bald freak has wanted to do from day one. Before COVID, cut as much crap as possible. And I think it's going to be the Disneyland fans that slap him into common sense. Because I'll tell you what's going to happen. I see it. I see it happening. They're going to cut. Prices on the other side of COVID, prices are going to go through the roof. And very little is going to come back. They're going to try and cover themselves with the opening of some new attractions that have been worked on for a few years and planned for a few years. And we're going to have to, I'll tell you what, if that's what happens, we're all going to have to band together. We're all going to have to band together.
Yeah.
And set them straight. and set them straight, because we're seeing it now. And I saw this and I'm like, what's next? What's next? What are they going to cut next? Now, look, I get it. Disneyland has been closed. They're hemorrhaging money, and I get it. They're a publicly traded company. They have responsibility to their stockholders. So I do understand some of it. I'm not, but there is some of it stuff they've wanted to do for a long time. The entertainment cuts out here. That jackass Dr. Evil was talking about that long before COVID, that he wanted to scale back on entertainment. And as you guys are saying, they've been wanting to figure out a way to do something with the annual pass program. Go ahead.
For the people who are panicking right now, Pete, that they're losing their annual passes, can we remind them that they will be getting reimbursement checks from Disney? Disney is retroactively prorating their passes and how many days they had left and sending them a check for the remainder of the cost, or the proportion of the cost after closing. So people will be getting checks. If they're wondering how much they're going to be getting, they can go to, I believe it's Disneyland.com/passport refund. Yeah, passport refund. And then they can plug in their annual pass information and it'll give you an idea how much. I'm not sure if it's set up yet, since this is all a brand new announcement, but supposedly there's a website being set up where you can do that. And you don't have to do anything else. You don't have to call.
All right. I just want to address something. James Philip Schaff made a comment. People always pay to get into Disney. Revolt as much as you want. It won't change anything. I'm inclined to agree with you where Walt Disney World is concerned. Disneyland is a different story, though. Disneyland is a much different story. Go ahead. Well, I'll let you do that, MJ. Go ahead.
So a few years ago, they tried the flag retreat ceremony at Disneyland is a big thing, and they tried to make it automated. And Disneyland fans threw such a fit. I was one of them, and back when we used to do the podcast, I would talk about it. Disneyland fans made such a fit that they went back to doing live flag retreat. If we made that much noise about something like the flag retreat, I think that if the annual pass is unacceptable to the locals, that they're going to see a huge, huge backlash among a lot of people.
I'll also remind everyone that we're basing comments like people are always going to go to Disney on what happened before a global pandemic devastated this country, the world. I don't know that if the influencers, and every single one of us who's a Disney fan on Facebook is an influencer, or Instagram, or Twitter. If the overarching narrative on social media is that it's not worth it. And keep in mind, this is somebody who owns a damn travel agency that specializes in Disney vacations saying this. If the overarching narrative becomes it's not worth it, the casual Disney visitor who's also on Facebook is getting that information and doesn't have the emotional attachment we do and decides to spend their vacation money somewhere else. If you think Disney is not mindful of that, you're crazy. You're crazy. So they have to watch the narrative here. And that's what I was saying on Tuesday was you better start announcing some stuff that's like, hey, we're adding this in, or we're doing this, something special. You better start doing some of that. Because if every announcement that comes out of Burbank is we're taking this away, we're taking this away, we're taking this away. it's going to be a problem. It's just going to be a problem. So the general wisdom of what I'm seeing, what I've been hearing for a while, and been seeing in the chat here, is that they're going to. I don't know that they're going to do this. I really don't know that I agree they're going to do this with our annual pass program. Our parks are open. They are allowing us to renew our annual passes. They're just not selling new ones yet. And I think that makes sense in the current circumstances. I think once they can get up to 50 or 60% capacity in the parks, I think we might see, even on a limited basis, some annual passes coming back. But a lot of people are saying they're going, when they bring fast passes back, they're going to start charging for them. And I think you're absolutely right. I think the days of free fast passes are over. I think the days of free fast passes are over. And somebody was asking me recently about if Disneyland's MaxPass program would work here. And I remember I just can't remember exactly. Remember hearing from somebody why it wouldn't work here. But what do you guys think? Do you think MaxPass could work in Orlando?
I love MaxPass.
Oh, so do I. But do you think it could work here?
I don't see why not. I think people, just like anything that changes with any that we're used to, I think people would be confused and maybe not too happy. But not being able to make your fast pass till that day, and not having tiers where you can do it for this one, and it's just so confusing right now at Walt Disney World. I would hope that MaxPass, Nancy has a better perspective, I think, than I do on that.
I guess. I mean, it'll definitely be a change, because if you're limiting like the number of things and how often you can get your fast pass in Florida, and everything being tied through your Magic Band system. I mean, we flash our phone, they flash their Magic Band. So
I prefer make no mistake. I am not Nancy Johnson, nor am I Mary Jo.
Of course not.
You would make a nice Mary Jo, though.
I could never compete with the original. Just for people who don't know, MaxPass is basically, how much did you guys pay? Did you pay for that? It was like $10 a day.
It was included in my pass. Yeah, it was correct. It was with this high premium. You had it. Otherwise, $10 a day per person.
So you would pay, if you weren't an annual pass holder, you pay $10 a day. You were able to make your fast passes on your phone. You had to be in the park to do it. It was same day.
Yep.
And hey, Jason. And you would just take your phone and show them when it was your time and get on the ride. That was your fast pass, and then as soon as you used one up, you could go ahead and make another one. I think you could have 3 at one time, right? Or is it one at a time?
It was one at a time, but it showed all the available fast pass, so you can make them. You could also cancel them if you saw that there was another one coming up, and grab it. And it basically was, once you checked in the park, you could go back to your hotel and make fast pass. So you just had to check in for the day to the park. So it's I don't know of anybody that did not like that program.
It was awesome.
I think that one of the things that would help in Orlando is the fact that you have all of these people who have to have their fast passes, what is it, 180 days in advance or 90 days in advance, however many days it is you make your first few for your trip. And you have everyone complaining about how they cannot get fast passes. So,
right. And that's
not?
The big
thing. It makes it easier.
That I think that's the thing some of the people in the chat are missing. With MaxPass, you had to do it day of, and you had to be in the park. So you had a fair shot of getting on some of these like really popular attractions, especially on really busy days. Whereas with our system, you know, Seven Dwarfs Mine Train is completely sold out effectively, you know,
Yep.
months in advance.
So Pete,
So
let me interrupt you just for a quick second
sure.
for FastPass. It's also it works just like the paper FastPass. If you remember, you would make your FastPass, and then 2 hours later, or at the time of, you can make the next one. So people could have 3 or more FastPass for the same day, and there were a lot of people who would stack them up to use.
Yep.
So it's
Because
not
if
just,
you're
I don't want people to think that it was just one at a time.
because if you're fast passing something like Phantasmic or max passing a reservation for, you know, Space Mountain at a certain time later in the evening, then you've got all day. So once your 2 hour window's done, you can stack like that.
Yeah, I don't know. I've always said I would love to see MaxPass out here. That if that was the paid system that they went to here, I'd be okay with it. Stop, you know, making people have to get, you know, figure out what attraction they want to be on 3 months in advance. But
Can the computers hack it?
What's that?
Can the Wi-Fi hack it out in your neck of the woods? I know we have problems occasionally with the Wi-Fi on our neck of the woods, but I mean, maybe that's, you know, you have to go to a FastPass kiosk, or, you know, they have little kiosks around the park. But with MaxPass, everything you do is with your phone.
Yeah.
So can they bridge that Wi-Fi issue?
Well, that's a good question. I don't know. I don't know. I don't
Maybe
know
that
the
was
answer
why
to it.
somebody said it wouldn't work. Yeah.
Could be. No, there was something else. There was another. Somebody brought up a really good point like ages ago, and I can't remember what it is because, you know, what the few brain cells I did have are gone.
Aww.
Please, after the last 6 months.
All right, who snorted?
But yeah, I think I really do think we are seeing now I think we saw it with some of the layoffs and some of the changes that they made a few months ago. I think this is a continuation of that, of them cutting things, pulling back on things, which I can give them a pass on while things are like this and cost cutting. But I'm not the only one taking notes. And yes, we can influence and do influence things by our feedback to guest services, our feedback to Burbank, our comments on social media. If you don't think they don't pay people to watch all this stuff, you're crazy. If you don't think that right now or at some point in the next few days, somebody from Disney is going to be watching what we're doing right now, you're crazy. So I like to get the message out there for whatever it's going to do, that we're not stupid. We see what you're doing. And as much as it pains me, I've got to throw my friend Josh D'Amaro's name into this mix because he's the chairman of Parks and Resorts. And you know what? I was going off on Chapek when he was chairman of Parks and Resorts, and I've been giving Josh a pass. And I can't do that anymore. That this is him too. And I'm disappointed. To be really honest, I'm disappointed. But I don't know. I mean, I also think, and I'm just being honest, right? I'm just being as transparently honest as I can be. I also think part of this, too, is just built up frustration. We're coming up on a year of this. We're coming up on a year. And none of us ever thought last March that we'd be sitting here in the middle of January still dealing with this. And I think there's exhaustion, you know, on a number of levels. And I've really tried to make these shows and these live streams about a respite from that. And when I do shows and live streams like this, I'm not really helping, but I think it's important that we talk about it. And that's why I wanted to. It was also a really good excuse to see my really, really good friends, Mary Jo and Nancy.
Thank you.
Miss you guys both so much.
Miss you too.
I can't wait till I can
Miss
come
you
out. I can't wait till I can come out to California and not risk my life. You know.
I can't wait till I can come see Mom and not risk my life. Risk her life.
Risk her life. Yeah. Well, we're trying to get her.
Yeah.
We're trying to get her the shot.
So I'm
Well, yeah,
fully vaccinated.
you're fully vaccinated because you're a frontline worker.
Yep.
And
Yep.
that's why. Mary Jo is 77. Have you gotten your vaccination yet, dear?
No, I'm so far down the list
Oh,
right now, so
darn.
I'm holed up. I don't go anywhere. I stay home, and it's the numbers are really high where I'm at, and at my workplace they're really high. So I just stay home.
Yep, that's a
So I'm
that's a
very
good idea.
bummed.
Let
Yeah.
me while we're talking about Disneyland, give me your impressions on this using Disneyland as a vaccination hub.
I think it's awesome. The way that garage is designed, there's one way in, you go up, there's one immediate path out. They can run people into spaced parking. You know, the parking lot can be run into every other space. They can contain a lot of people on one floor, maybe. You know, I don't know how they're planning on doing it, but if it were me organizing it, I would run one floor as paperwork, you know, one side is paperwork, then send them off to the other half of the garage because you have to go through the second half of the garage in order to get to the exit. So, you know, send them on over there, put them into the parking spaces. The nurses can come up to their windows, whap, done. They're, you know, they're being administered with insulin syringes. So very, very tiny needles. The shots do not hurt. You do not feel them. You'll feel it the next day when your arm is sore, like any other shot. But really, I had pretty much nothing from the first shot. I was a little tired, maybe 2 or 3 days later, but I just had a sore arm. Second one, the second shot, I would recommend getting a lot of rest around the injection days, and I recommend taking Advil right after you get the shot, or acetaminophen, or Tylenol, whatever you take for pain and inflammation. I recommend taking that. But I was great the third day. So.
Well, that's good. I'm glad you got. I'm glad you were able to get it.
I got lucky.
Like I said, you know,
I think the way they're going to do it is great. I honestly do. And the downtown Disney parking, if you're visiting downtown Disney, is completely separate from the garage. They're using the Simba parking lot, which is on the other side of Paradise Pier. So you're not going to be involved with the lines and the parking as it comes in. I think it's a way to go. It'll keep lines off the street, and they can just filter the lines through the garage.
Now, have you guys been over to have you guys been over there to eat, or you know, in
Yes.
Downtown Disney? What's it been
Yes.
like? How's it been with the crowds and things like that?
It's not bad. Now, they have a really interesting system to get into some of the shops. They obviously have waiting queues, but for things like Marceline's, which is extremely popular and is in the middle of other shops, Marceline's is their candy store, where you can buy apples and Tigger tails and things like that. You have a virtual queue system on your phone. So you take your phone, you scan the QR code with your phone app, with your camera app, and then it'll bring up a web page where it'll put you in the queue, and then you'll get notifications when it's time for you to come stand in line physically at Marceline's. And they only wrap the line just around the edge of Catal's first floor area. And that's it. The line doesn't even go to the Catal door. They'll just tell you to come back in a little bit. And otherwise, it's pretty much a breeze. There's one entry into World of Disney. That's at the side. If you're coming out of the park walking towards downtown Disney, it's that door is the entry, and they run the line all the way the length of the World of Disney building.
Wow.
Now, before they closed the dining, when they had the dining open, the line to get into downtown Disney could be as long as a 4-hour wait.
Yes,
Really?
and if you
Yes.
But the way they run it is they run it through the South Park at the Grand Californian, that South Park right across the street from the hotel, right next to the Paradise Pier. So they weave the line through that parking lot. Now, if you have a dining reservation, if you had a dining reservation, you could only make dining reservations a day ahead. So you would make your reservation a day or more ahead. And then when you got there, you could show them proof of your dining reservation, and you would automatically get in, whereas other people would have to wait in line until enough people left, if it was maxed out of occupancy. So that's better. And they can increase the occupancy now that they've given more space to everything, because the Esplanade is open, and they're letting people walk up and down California Adventure. Down Buena Vista Street. So, and I even saw pictures. We weren't there at the time that was open. We went before the 19th of November. But after that, they even had the trolley in front of the animation area on their Hollywood Boulevard. They had the trolley out for pictures, so you could stand there. So there was definitely things to see and do. I think it's genius for them to open that area for shopping,
Okay.
as long as they can.
Let me
shop.
interrupt here real quick. John
Okay.
Shubin is screaming in all caps that we have our facts wrong, that the vaccine is being administered somewhere else.
I think it's the Toy Story lot.
Yeah, but it's we're talking about. Nancy was talking about what she would do.
Yes.
How she
What
would
I
do
would
it.
do.
So if you're gonna
no
scream in
details.
all, hold on. If you're gonna scream in all caps, maybe get your facts straight and pay attention and listen before you start yelling in the chat. Okay? Sorry. Second time in a row now I've had to yell at somebody in live stream for being a douche.
Well,
So she has her facts straight. She was talking about how she would do it.
Yeah. No matter what, no matter who, when you're getting a vaccine, you got to do the paperwork first. Then they'll send you over to a nurse. And then you got to sit for 15 minutes to make sure you're okay before they kick you out. So those are steps you have to follow. Expect to do those no matter what, however they set it up.
Yeah. So
yeah, it's just the way it is. But thank you, John, for your interest in the show.
No, screw him.
No.
You know I can't say that.
No, you can't, but I can. I can. This is what they don't understand. They're in a chat room. I got a camera and a microphone. Okay? I can do this all night. You want to be a dick? Go ahead and be a dick. But I'll call you out. I just can't stand that crap. Go somewhere else. Watch another show. Go to another site. Don't need your crap here. So, there's my jersey.
Having said that, I will say that dining is closed. There is no dining. You can purchase food, but you cannot eat it there at the site. You have to take it with you. So if people, and that's kind of why I think the number of people who are going to Disneyland right now, or downtown Disney, they're just going there to shop and maybe to get some of the atmosphere. but not to sit, not even to eat outside. You just, anything
Correct.
you purchase, you have to take with you. But the fast food places do offer, you know, a limited menu that you can get and take and eat at a park, or take it home.
I'll just be
Or your
happy.
hotel.
I'll just be happy when I can come out there again. Be happy
been
when I can
too
go
long.
anywhere again. It's been too long.
Yeah.
It's been too long.
Well,
But
I
all
tell
right,
you,
I'm sorry. Go ahead. Who was
Oh,
talking?
I was gonna say, I tell you, I got 468 DVC points waiting to get spent at a resort hotel that I have to use before August, and I really don't want to fly to Florida necessarily to use them, especially until things get a little better. So I want a
Yeah,
hotel.
well, you've at least got some
Europe.
cover. You've gotten the vaccine. You've gotten some cover.
Yeah. Well,
I mean,
me personally, but none in my family is, going to be able to get it for a long time.
right,
So.
right. That's true. Well, just come by
Yeah.
yourself. Come by
I
yourself.
know.
You've had the
It's possible.
vaccine.
that.
You've had the vaccine. You can come by yourself, and you can be around mom. You can be around. You've had the vaccine. I'd let you be
True.
around mom.
Okay.
So
I would do that to be around Madeline. Yes.
there you go.
I miss mom.
All right, so that's going to do it, folks. Thank you, Mary Jo. Thank you, Nancy, for taking time today to talk about this. Just thought it would
Thank
be
you
a
for
nice.
having us.
It would be fun to
Thank
do an
you.
impromptu live stream, yell at somebody. That's my favorite things to do in the world. So, and thank you, folks, for joining us.